Now we move on. In the professional ranks, 2 debuting fighters, Ahmad Douglas, 6-2 as an amateur. Ben Allen, 4-2 as an amateur. We send it up to Jake Digman to bring out the first fighter.
The following contest is a professional bout in the RFO featherweight division, and it is brought to you by the online home of RFO, RFOfights.com. Introducing first, making his way down the aisle into the blue corner, please welcome Benjamin Allen.
Benjamin Allen from Virginia comes up, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's also a former power lifter, John, and as you take a look at him, heavily muscled guy is Ben Allen. Began career back in 2011 with a submission loss. His second fight he took 2 years off, and it was a knockout loss, and since then he's been on a 4-fight win streak. And after that second loss, John, he took 2 more years off. 4-fight win streak, and he's really pieced it together after taking a break from the sport.
Yeah, starting in 2011, in only a short career, he's gone through October of 2016 with only 5 fights, but he is, 6 fights, but he is looking to make his debut tonight a memorable one. We're going to see what kind of stand-up game he has, because his opponent, Ahmad Douglas, likes to stand and bang coming out of Griffinrall, known for their Muay Thai.
It's a contrasting styles type of fight, John. As Ben Allen hits the cage, we're going to get to Ahmad Douglas in just a second, but we need Jake Digman to bring him out.
And his opponent making his way down the aisle into the red corner, please welcome Ahmad the Future Douglas.
Take a look at the tail of the tape, John, as we look at how these two match up.
Yeah, 29 years old. You know, he's experienced. He's a little bit older, but Ahmad Douglas at 21 years old, I've trained with him when he was 17 years old. He said, I'm going to be a world champion someday. So Ahmad is incredibly motivated, and you can see by the look on his face, he is an individual that absolutely, he may be the next champion of the world, he may not, but he is determined to try his best.
Well, every long journey begins with the first step, and this is the first step in the professional career of Ahmad Douglas. He comes in on a 3-fight win streak. I mentioned that record, 6-2 as an amateur, but he's got much more experience than that. He says he's 4 boxing fights, 4 kickboxing fights, numerous grappling tournaments, and John, there's bigger things in fighting to him. He says that he wants to win. Boring fights suck, and he just wants to make his family proud.
Yeah, and he trains with one of the best, as we see right there, Jason Dynamite Dent, one of the featured stars on what the Ultimate Fighter shows, and he goes toe-to-toe with Jason on a daily basis. And we, you know, at Griffinrall, we have a thing called Throwdown Thursday, where it's full contact. These two guys are full contact every day of the week.
Speaking of that, the preparation for the camp. Ahmad Douglas cross-trained at Strong Style. He got an opportunity to train with one of the headliners in tonight's main event. That's Cody Stevens. He said they pushed each other, and it made him a much, much better fighter. These little experiences that fighters pick up along the way, Ahmad Douglas had one of those.
Yeah, and one of the things, one of the beauties of mixed martial arts is, you know, gyms have rivalries, and that's to be sure, but Griffinrall and Strong Style have said, you know what, we're going to put those differences aside, and let's all get better together.
Well, everybody understands the ultimate goal is to get to that next level, the big show, and if the local gyms can help them get there, they're more than willing to do it. Ahmad Douglas determined as he heads into the cage. We send it up to Jake Digman for the official introductions.
The following contest is a professional bout in the RFO featherweight division, and it is brought to you by the online home of the RFO, RFOfights.com. Introducing first in the blue corner, he fights out of Richmond, Virginia. He weighed in at 145 pounds, representing MMA Institute. He is making his professional debut. Please welcome Benjamin Allen. His opponent in the red corner, he fights out of Painesville, Ohio. He weighed in at 145 pounds, representing Team Griffin Raw. He is making his professional debut. Please welcome Ahmad the Future Douglas. This bout is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds, and when the action begins, your referee is Mr. Brent Bollock.
Brent Bollock brings the fighters together. Ben Allen in the black with red trim. Ahmad Douglas, we're going to call him gray. Ryan Kavanaugh along with John Sturmack bringing you the action at RFO Big Guns 24.
We've said it all night, and I love it, that the fighters touch gloves. Nobody kicked each other's dog. Nobody called their mother a whore. These guys got business to do, but right now, that business is violence.
Ooh, big right hand from Ben Allen gets the attention of Douglas.
And Douglas answered with a nice leg kick.
Ben Allen with that wild overhand right. Quick straight punches for Douglas, and Ben Allen gets the takedown. Keep an eye on the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu chops of Allen as he is in the guard of Ahmad Douglas.
And Jason Dent right now is saying, move your hip, move your hip. He does not want Allen to pass guard. Which he does easily.
Moves to side mount rather.
Allen inside control, doing a good job. He's got a submission by Americana, submission by rear naked choke. And I got to believe that that's exactly what he's looking for.
Look at the patience of Ben Allen. He knows he's got time to work. He's not rushing. He's not in a hurry. And Allen's doing a good job. He's really smothering his hips. He's keeping his left knee, monitoring the hips of the future, running some good knees. And John, what is
smart jiu-jitsu?
John, what does Douglas need to do in this position to get himself out from underneath Allen?
He's got to turn into him. Right now, Ahmad is turning away from him. He's actually got to turn into it. Turn into him, try to get full guard back. Easier said than done, but he's got to turn into him and try to get full guard back.
There's some elbows from Douglas. He's got a nice frame working from the bottom, and there you see Ben Allen immediately breaks that down.
Yeah, he's doing a real nice job, but like I said, he's got submissions by, Americana, rear naked choke, referee stoppage. He's going to be a guy that's going to be smothering.
Well, it's very, as I can see here, very heavy top control. And Douglas, fortunately for Douglas, he's in the corner of Jason Dent. He's got George Comer, and he's able to look at them and get some advice, but they can't help him get Ben Allen off of him. He's got to do it himself.
Right, and he needs to turn into him. Now, he's up against the cage. Right now, he's got to use the cage as his friend.
It looks like Allen trying to isolate an arm here.
As I mentioned before, he's got a submission victory before by Americana. I would fully expect him to try to be exposing an arm. But Ahmad is doing a good job right now, keeping his elbows tight, up against the body.
That was a big elbow that got through, John. And there he goes. Trying to get out, and that's just great flow grappling by Ben Allen.
Yeah.
Floating over to the other side. He's really impressed with top control right now, Ben Allen.
Yeah, and one of the things he's doing more than anything, he's monitoring the right hip of Ahmad Douglas. He's really making sure that under no conditions does he get back to full guard.
Short elbows from Ahmad Douglas. He's going to try and fight his way out of this. And can we be set? Allen setting up a north-south choke here, John?
He could very well be. He lets go of it, tries to get to full mount, and he's going to get it. And looks like he's going to have full mount, strikes, and he's looking for a rear naked choke.
And Douglas is doing a good job of moving, but now he's not, and his back's flat. He wants to avoid keeping the back and the hips flat on the mat.
Yeah, he needs to shrimp, as they call it, where he's got to move his hips and get out of that full mount.
Now he's just got to survive. 25 seconds. Can Ben Allen put Ahmad Douglas away? None of these punches look like they have much steam on them. And now he's gone up and he's pinned down the arm, and Ahmad Douglas gets that arm free. There's a 10-second bell.
And he's got this back, and he's got a rear naked choke, and we might have a finish.
Ahmad Douglas is fighting it. And Ben Allen cannot finish in the final 10 seconds. Ahmad Douglas survives round number 1. And there's no other way to put that, John. He survived.
He survived. He's definitely down 10-9 right now. One of the things he needs to do is he needs to start looking at when is the takedown going to happen, and when is he going to be able to take that knee. One of the things I would look for, because this is professional ranks now. Throw that knee and
I know you guys are excited and standing, but
get
please
that
be
knee
courteous if there's
right
people
in his
behind
face.
You can stand. Let's
If
just
he's
find
going
a
to shoot,
space for
throw
those
that
behind
knee.
you. Thank you, guys. Be good to each other.
And look at this, John. This is the end of the fight. The last 30 seconds where Ben Allen had Douglas mounted.
As you pointed out, though, not a lot on those strikes.
Yeah, it was just more point scoring and perhaps setting up and opening. But now, if you're Ahmad Douglas, you realize I do not want to be on the ground with this guy.
No, absolutely not.
Ben Allen, we mentioned former powerlifter, very strong, and he showed that off.
And the thing I was most impressed with Allen was the hip control.
Wow, Ahmad Douglas exploding.
Oh, and again.
Well, Douglas went for a choke and slipped off, and that allowed the takedown.
And I think Allen, more than anything, I'm going to give him credit for being smart. I think we realize that Douglas is the superior striker. He's being smart. Get this fight to the ground.
Well, this is Ben's world. This is Allen's world. And it looks as if Ben Allen may be busted open, and he is. And it may be from one of those elbows. But I will point out, in between rounds, we're right next to the corner of Griffin Raw, and the mouthpiece of Ahmad Douglas was quite bloody. So he's got some bleeding inside his mouth. But now if you look at the stomach of Douglas, the blood's pouring from the face or head of Ben Allen. Douglas pushing away. There's another elbow. That's what he's doing. He's trying to push the head away and land those elbows, and he's doing a pretty good job of it.
And right now, Douglas, everybody in the crowd is screaming body head, but right now, Ben Allen is not doing that.
Well, the corner of Griffin Raw is imploring Ahmad Douglas, you cannot let him pass. And what they mean is the guard, the wrap legs behind Ben Allen, they can't let Ben Allen get either of those knees on the opposite side of Ahmad Douglas's legs. The reason for that is he's incredibly heavy on top.
Yeah, and right now, Ahmad Douglas is doing a great job of using his elbows. He's absolutely bloodied Ben Allen, but in the judges' minds, Ben Allen's on top. He's landing strikes. They're giving him the round.
And I mentioned professionalism, and you're showing some fine professionalism there because Douglas is from your former home, Griffin Raw, but I would disagree. I think if this fight keeps going, this round keeps going, Ben Allen's sitting in the guard of Douglas, and he's taking abuse. He's taking punishment. I mean, Douglas is banging Ben Allen up right now on the ground.
He is. I fully.
Those are vicious elbows.
As a jiu-jitsu guy, I'm giving this round right now to Douglas, but the referees, or excuse me, the judges are going to see somebody on top, and they very well might give it to Ben Allen.
Well, maybe we'll test the judges in Ohio in 2017 because, I would hope the sport has advanced past somebody being on top. Although let's not forget, the fight got to the ground because of a takedown of Ben Allen.
And I would not be surprised if the referee stands this up. Right now, both guys are kind of, meh.
Ooh, there's a nice elbow from Douglas and a punch. And again, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of steam on those punches from Allen on top, John.
No, there's not, but nonetheless, he's active enough and he is on top.
It'll be interesting when Ben Allen gets up off of Ahmad Douglas to see the condition of his face, because he is taking a lot of shots, a lot of elbows from the bottom here. And there's some good, solid punches. John, how much force can Douglas generate from there?
If he gets his shoulders off the mat, he can generate a lot of force, and plus elbows are sharp. Nothing cuts you like an elbow.
I mean, these are big elbows to the side of Ben Allen's head. And what Ben Allen needs to do is get higher up and limit that space, because every time there's space, Douglas is using it to strike.
And Allen looks absolutely exhausted.
Right in front of our broadcast position, John, and I would agree. And Ahmad Douglas being on his back with another man on top of him. Ooh, big elbow. You would think he'd be the more tired fighter.
Yeah. I've only seen maybe one or two fights where a fighter won from their back. And
how about DJ Yakabuki knockout?
Yeah,
Yakabuki.
And this might be the third.
Oh, there's another big elbow. And I mean, to the point where it looked like Ben Allen was going to try and get out of the guard.
Yeah.
Because of big elbow from Ben Allen, but that's the first of the round.
Right now, Ahmad Douglas is winning this, in my opinion. Okay, let me make sure for the audience I'm clear. I think Ahmad Douglas won that round as far as more significant strikes. But I think the judges will look at it as that Ben Allen was on top and also throwing strikes.
You see, we just saw on the screen there, John, as we take a look at some of this action. Here's the takedown, and that's what it was. It was a front choke by Douglas, slipped, that allowed the takedown for Ben Allen. But, John, so often you come back to a corner, you get advice, you figure out what adjustments do we need to make. The first thing Jason Dent, and our cameras caught it, great work, guys. First thing Jason Dent did is point across the cage at Ben Allen and say, look at him, look at him. Letting his fighter know you are the fresher fighter, and this fight is yours to take.
And I can tell you, training with Jason Dent, he is in your face nonstop. Jason Dent may not have a heavyweight championship, he may not have a lightweight championship, but one of the things, Jason Dent is going to be in your face nonstop.
Fighter's going to touch gloves. This is the third and final round. Two fighters.
And Ben Allen does look exhausted.
The two fighters making their professional debut. And Douglas, if I'm Ahmad Douglas, takedown defense is the primary focus in this round.
Yep.
Likewise, Ben Allen has to get the fight back to the ground. He looks gassed on the feet.
He's got it. Ben Allen has to get this fight to the ground.
The blood trickling from the nose of Ben Allen. Big overhand right, and Ahmad Douglas waves him forward. Oh, there's a big right hand.
Oh!
Haymakers from Douglas.
It's over.
Ben Allen dropped. He dropped for a single, John. He didn't drop from a punch. That was his way of getting out of harm's way.
And I think Ahmad Douglas.
Oh, he's got a foot. He tapped him out. Ben Allen just tapped Ahmad Douglas and caught him in an ankle lock.
I got to see the replay on that.
My goodness, out of nowhere.
Do we have a tap? Who tapped?
Ahmad Douglas just tapped. This fight is over. Unquestionably. Wow, I don't think the fans here knew what happened.
I don't know exactly what. Even though they were right in front of us, it was at an angle that I couldn't see.
From my vantage point, I believe it was Ahmad Douglas who tapped. And take a look at this, John. See, Ahmad Douglas doesn't drop him. He goes for the ankle. Now keep an eye on Ben Allen from the bottom. There it is. Going to attack the left leg. Walk us through this, John.
I cannot tell right now. Oh, and he does. Does he have an ankle lock? Oh, and he does. He does have a heel hook. And a heel hook.
Wow. Ben Allen.
Ben Allen got a heel hook in there. I think, you know what? Ben Allen might get the victory, but he's worse of the Warriors.
Well, I'm not quite sure that because right now in the cage, Ahmad Douglas. Yeah, Jason Dent just joined our broadcast booth and said when he dropped him, he should have backed out. Instead, he got in there, and that's the danger zone. You got a grappler, the skill level of Ben Allen.
And that's one of the things that my jiu-jitsu coach always told me. Said, the beauty of jiu-jitsu, you're never out of a fight because you can always grab a submission. And that's Ben Allen. As you can see him, he is clearly beat up. He's broken, but he's your winner.
Absolutely, John. What a fight. Ben Allen, and he's feeling that lump over his right eye. I mean, that is a massive contusion, and there's cuts below it, and there's cuts above it, and Ahmad Douglas, even in defeat, is getting the crowd on their feet. What a fight from these two. Sometimes when you lose, you come out victorious in other ways, and I think this will be a learning experience for Ahmad Douglas.
And as we can see, the doctors are attending to Ben Allen, and he...
And just so you know, folks at home, his nose didn't look like that before the fight.
No. I mean, right now, it looks like he could smoke a cigarette in the shower.
And yet, he gives a scream out, does Ben Allen. We're going to send up to Jake Digman for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Brett Bollock calls a stop to the action at 48 seconds of the third round, declaring your winner by heel hook submission, Benjamin Allen!
What a fight. That was fight of the night. Let's hear it for both these warriors. I'm here with your winner, Benjamin Allen. How you feeling, man?
Oh, I did win, but I don't kind of look like it, but I don't really fucking care. Ahmad's a son of a bitch, a tough son of a bitch. And thank you, Ohio guys. Great card, great friends. You guys are great fighters, you know. But I live in Richmond. No, I'm playing. I thank you guys a lot, so that's all I really got to say. My coach, family, blah, blah, blah here.
How did you, did he drop you with that punch, or did you try to lure him to the ground at the end there?
I didn't get rocked. When that happens, I can't really tell you because I don't remember.
Yeah, I know that feeling, unfortunately. I've been there before.
Heel hook, so I was able to catch him, but then he's a hell of a fighter. Look at my eye, look at my nose.
That was a great fight, man. I'm sure that'll be fight of the night. We appreciate you coming out here in Ohio. Are you going to come back and fight for the RFO?
Oh, hell yeah. Great fans, great card. It's fucking awesome. So you guys are fucking awesome.
Let's hear it for your winner, Benjamin Allen. He's awesome.